about big Broadway shows, musicals and touring houses, opera houses, which is why I also refer to basic corrective for the large stage as diva makeup, because if you're wearing this much makeup, chances are you're a diva and you're going to act like it. So diva makeup is, the idea is that all the features of the face, under very strong light, are visible from far away. If you're in the orchestra, you might be in row double L, you know, which is 40 rows back. You need to be able to see the diva's eyes and the diva's mouth, because if we can't see her, then we can't understand her, even if she's white, which is a lecture for a different time about how that's lamentable and how we like people on our face. Anyway, so the diva makeup is about being seen at a great distance, so it's a lot of makeup. But the diva, being a diva, wants to be beautiful from up close. And if you've ever worked on an opera singer, she's going to do something like this when you put her makeup on her. She's going to look at it up close. So the trick is visible makeup that looks as beautiful from row A as it is visible from row double L. So blending is key. Soft edges, because we're going to get quite a lot of shadow on here. So we want soft, blended edges. So it's really important that things aren't sort of blocky, that they blend into the skin. There is, with the exception of the eyes, a little less difference between men and women. We still want to keep the same degree of color. So for men, it's strong temples, strong jaw, a bit stronger nose. For women, it's strong cheekbones, strong eyes, a little bit under the lips. We're going to layer in shadows everywhere. So for men, that means a little shadow under the lip as well. For women, that means strengthening the temple, keeping everything sort of in balance, but punching up shadow and highlight, punching up contrast everywhere. Alright. Great. For some of you, it might mean a switch to the deeper colors. If you're using, let's see what's in my kit. I have plum as a contouring shade. I also have deep mocha as a contouring shade. You have a few shades of brown between your black plastic makeup and your real makeup. So you might, for this, if it's not showing up as dark as we want, you might need to mix them or switch to the deeper stuff, play around. What many of you can do is layer in the lighter colored stuff, and then in the centers of things where we want it deepest, you can layer in darker colors there. The advantage of that is that you get good density of color in the center, but it's easy to blend into the skin along the outside. If you're super fair, you might want to just straight up try using your lighter shadow color and just layering them on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is Kim's put in a fairly shallow contour here. I'm going to lengthen it as well as deepen it. So on her, given that she has sort of peachy but closer to sort of mid-skin tone, I am mixing the two colors at the center. I'm getting a little of the deeper color on the brush. And me, I'm mixing them right on the brush. You might want to mix them on the hands, or mix them on a little palette. We want to go all the way back to the hairline, and she's done. A really nice cheek contour is to keep that hard edge at the top. We're going to go back and soften it just the tiniest bit, but we want it to be softer along the bottom and really blend into the skin, so she doesn't look like she has a big block of color. So what I'm even going to do is go in with a clean brush, as I did on this demo, the first demo as well, even more important here. Just go in with a clean brush, just soften up all the way around those two bottom edges of the turn. So turn it up to so really deep, but you'll notice it's sort of softer at the edges. So she doesn't look robotic. Keeping it symmetrical sort of color-wise is trickier. So double check your work. I went and see that on the other side my top edge is a little sharper, so I'm going back to the tiny. All right. Temples. She's put in a great sort of shape and strength for these temples. I'm just going to go back into the center and deepen them just in the center a little bit. I don't want on her feminine face a really sharp edge of the temple, but the hollow at its deepest point to be a little darker. Now for men doing the same makeup, go ahead and make that inner edge of the temple nice and strong, even a bit robotic. Jawline wants to be nice and strong on everyone. Remember that that has a triangular shape that is longest where that jaw kind of turns from here to here, right here. And for large stage, you can even bring the color of that jaw shadow, lady, a little closer to the cheek, the density and the depth of the cheek. You really want to define the face from a distance. So as with the other spots on Tim's face, I have put a little bit of the deeper color right in the center. Easier to blend than when you're trying to get a sort of sparse amount on. Great shout out question.
The foundation is
yes. You may find that if you got away with like a really light layer of it for small stage, that for large stage you want to get a bit thicker. We are blending a lot more into it. It'll be sort of more malleable. You may find that's easier at first. After you've practiced a few times, you'll be able probably to just get the deeper color in there without having to do a first layer. But just sort of get you started and sort of with something you're more comfortable with. That's probably first. area tight. We want to keep it off the cheek. We want to keep it just in that little triangle with the point at the top and down to the nostril. So we want to keep this area small, but it's really important, because we're going to layer in more color, that we are super symmetrical down the center of the nose, because otherwise we'll really redefine the shape. One change from the basic corrective is I'm going to take that nose shadow higher up the bridge, almost into the eye socket, following that curve. But I'm going to keep it light. Kind of curve around. The bone will naturally kind of lend a little curve up here. Follow that. And again, the nose is yet another spot where you want sharp-ish edges at center, and you want it really visible here. And I'm sure all of you found that the nose shadow is not a shadow that makes you feel particularly beautiful. We're going to deepen just at the center. We're going to deepen this little chin shadow as well. I'm going to go with something darker than what I used. I have saved the eyes for last, because eyes for diva makeup for large stage have a significant difference. For men, it means doing the same technique I used for basic corrective small stage. So instead of doing just a little pat-a-pat area in the crease, men are going to do the swipe, wipe, blend out. Women are going to do that same thing, except we're going to take what was a slight exaggeration above the crease, and we're going to exaggerate it even that much more, and then we're going to throw some color in there. So take where you put the basic corrective, so it should be about 1/8 of an inch, especially in the outer half, above the natural crease. You're going to pop it up about another 1/8 of an inch, so it's going to be about 1/4 inch above your natural crease. Yes, but you will use the same method I did for women on small stage for this. So just above the crease, line it in, wipe, blend out. Yep.
What do we do with
Negative self-talk. No, yeah. Well, the issue is, you, like me, have kind of a heavy upper lid, so actually we can take advantage of that to create a real deep hollow where there isn't one. So you can even do this with your eye open, because you're going to be going into a crease. But I'm going to be I'm going straight for the deeper color on this. With men, it's a bit of experimentation. You'll probably want to do a mix. I'm going to follow the line of her brow much more closely than I am following where the almond of her eye comes back down. I'm going to bring it way out as far as the brow goes. Again, white, nice and clean. You will have a lot of dark shadow on this brush by the time you do that, so wipe very carefully. Remember that, kids, you want a nice clean line at the base. Real deep at the base and then feathering out almost nothing. You have a lot of color on there, a little tap of paper towel. Just take off the excess is a good idea. So you see that's quite above her natural crease. We're going to go back in with a little color later and kind of gild that. But meanwhile, I'm going to attempt to get it symmetrical on the other side. So in the kit I have, which is actually a different brand, it's Deep Mocha. But for you, it's probably going to be, you could try the Sienna Red, but that might be a little pink. Use sort of the darkest brown that you have. Stroke. You want it really clean looking at the base, but if you feel like you have more control by doing little lines that you connect up, that is totally fine. Towards that arch, towards the sharply turn in the brow, look at it. Step on the eyes, get the highlight in there, and then powder that up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clean brush. You can use like an eyeliner brush or something with a skinny tip, or you can wash off the tip of your small brush. What we're going to do is we're going to go in with the cream blush color, and we're going to do a little layer of sort of surprising rosy pink right under the shadow. Not more than a thin line. Careful not to blend into the shadow itself. Careful. That's why yours doesn't in the natural crease. Yep.
Now in art, which colors?
Let's see. You can do a mix of the Dusty Rose Rouge and the Cinnamon Cream color. Would be a nice sort of the equivalent of what I'm using. Like this is a little. What is this? The Dusty Rose is a little peachy, the cinnamon is a little dark, but mixed together they sort of create a rosy.
Where do you see straighten the line?
See that? Like right underneath the shadow. what it does, this little layer of rose softens that dark line, helps it look a little less strange that the crease line is so far above the natural crease. It's going to make the makeup look a little warmer, more feminine, softer from the first row, and that's really the only point of it. I'm going to go ahead and lightly just paint highlight over that lower lid, coming up to meet the pink but not touching it. Bring your highlight all the way out to meet this new sort of eye line. Again, you want to do a little highlight right in that section under the arch, just to get that row. Pat it. Stay close. I'm going to pat all of that. But if you powder right away, it will help. I'm going to use like a soft eyeshadow brush. You can use sort of an edge of your powder puff. If you have a soft brush, that's a good idea. Dip it right in, kind of tap off the excess. So yeah, in this case, with this amount of eye makeup, and with all the color that you're using, to go through and do all three steps and then powder it, even before you go back. You know, you can do this last, or you can do this and then go back to the highlight. Just wanted to feel that color in. It's a good idea. All right. We want brighter highlights for this as well. Should be visible. For small stage, we want to keep it really subtle. And for here, we don't want it to get chalky. And sort of where that line is going to be different on each of these. We want a slightly wider area. So this rectangle of highlight above the cheek shadow is about 3/4 of an inch long here. And again, you want to blend it softly at the edges. But it should be more visible. know, so if you slid your brush along where it gets stuck, that's where you want to start. On the nose, in is horizontal highlight. Bring it all the way down to the tip, but no further. Bring that highlight any further down than if you're going to make the nose longer, especially with this one.
Area in the forehead. This is a place to watch out for symmetry. Some of you, particularly on your makeup charts, sort of stuck these any which place, but you really want to be longest in the center of the face and symmetrical from side to side out from there. On the chin as well. Oval. Now, if you have any sort of interesting brow ridges, indentations that you want to show the world, for Basic Corrective Large Stage, go ahead and color those in, particularly men. We want to really emphasize the planes of the face. So if you have, like for example here, I have a little kind of shadow that lives right here, right in the center, that separates my brow ridge from the rest of my forehead. Can you kind of see that? Like I have a shadow that lives here. I'm not particularly fond of it. I don't think it makes me look good, so I wouldn't color it in. But if you have, say, anything that draws attention to the dome of the forehead, like any kind of ridge or hollow in here, or men in particular with whom we want to emphasize a strong brow, if you have any kind of indentation or ridge just above the eyebrow, it's great for coloring in. Keep it soft so you don't look like you have smudges of dirt on your face, but a little sort of, and following the shape of it very carefully can look really nice. As with the other shadows in Basic Corrective Large Stage, get them deepest in the center and then keep them soft toward the edges. Any questions or observations while I'm doing a courtesy hair wash? So when you're in here, it means turning around and looking at the mirror, say across from you, or coming to the other side of the room and looking at yourself in somebody else's mirror. Turn sort of side to side. Yeah, okay. Get that a little soft. Bless you. Get that a little softer at the edges. And I also see that her temples are a little darker than I need. If it's the first thing my eyes drawn to from across the room, especially something like the temple, then it's more than right. For men will want to switch to cream blush, which has a little deeper color, more staying power. You can finger apply it to the apples of the cheeks and sort of blend it in a circular shape and outward with your fingers. Women, you want to layer both. You want to start with a layer of cream blush. You have two rougey shades in your kit. Many of you will find that a mix is prettier than one or the other. You can either finger apply the cream blush or use a brush to do so. I'm going to kind of mix them here in my palette. Smile for me. Okay, you want to kind of tap it at the very center, because you're going to get the most on your first tapping. So you want to tap right into the center of the apple and then blend in a circular motion sort of down and around and out. And again, in kind of a teardrop shape toward that cheekbone.
Is there cream blush in the kit?
Yeah, it comes in the quartet. You'll have two sort of rougey shades in there. Again, we don't want to get it sort of where the eye, we don't want to get it higher than the eye socket, because it's going to make your eyes look red. And we don't want to get it lower than the apple, or it's going to sort of visually pull your face down, make you look older than you are. So you want to get it in a nice circular area. Now this is true for any makeup that you want to deepen color or give it staying power, smile for me, is layering powder over cream is a great way to do it. If you need, say, eyeshadow to last all day, layering the same color powder over the cream is the way. Primer is also a bit of a racket. Most about this project, other than having to get that pink line in there, which is trickier than I made it look, I'm doing it for a long time, is how much blush I'm going to demand you wear. It's not going to feel pretty, but with that strong light, that strong stage light on you, you really do need it to fill in the face. So once you start from the middle with just the one color that you have.
So you guys want the cream blush and the powder?
No, you're going to do just the cream blush and then use the regular face powder over it. For motion, starting at the center, working down and around and out. I'm going to give you your strongest color. See, I told you, Kate, how much blush that is. Sorry, I should have been over this whole time. Match the really hyper extension I've given the eyeshadow. I'm going to extend the brow by quite a lot. Now, if you have very thin brows, particularly sort of from the arch out, you're going to want to thicken from the arch out. So it's not like one skinny line that just keeps going. Right, you're going to want to thicken so that the whole brow still has balance. In Kim's case, she actually has a nice, while light, a nice sort of thick brow out from the arch. So like with when we did the eyebrows before, short strokes, sort of in the direction and mimicking hair growth. And again, this is, in real life, this would be a crazy extension of your brow. I've sent her brow out like a good ½ inch. Yeah, guys too. Because it's about extending the look of the whole sort of mask area of the face. In fact, because she's got light brows, I'm going to go ahead. Look on her, I'm going to go ahead and do a really a strong liquidy pink. You're fine to use sort of a thick layer of whatever you have in your kit, but if you are an actor or you're a makeup wearer and you have something in the berry, peach, pink, we want it to, red, yeah, go for the, yeah, it's Diva makeup, go for the Diva lip. It wants to be creamy, not sparkly, not super shiny, not wet look. Anything sort of too brown or raisiny or plummy will just look muddy and dark on stage. So we want sort of bright berries, pinks, peaches, true reds. Anything too dark will turn a mess. Now, what I'm going to do, and you can do this no matter how full your lips are, whether they're very full or not, is I'm going to sort of extend her natural lip line. Now, if I were to do this from corner to corner, I'd look like a clown. But given this little shadow that sort of hangs right here in the center of the bottom of your lip, you can sort of paint into that shadow pretty extensively and get away with it as it reading like a natural lip line. Just bring it to the natural lip line at the corners and you can get away with extending it quite a lot. And it looks so natural that the only one who's going to be shocked when she sees it is Kim, because Kim knows what her natural lip line is. You can really exaggerate this. Now, if you don't have much upper lip, you can exaggerate the bow of the lips as well. I'm going to do that a little bit on Kim just to show you, even though she has a really good balance between her upper and lower lip. But again, whether upper or lower lip, only exaggerate at the center.
Now that's like, would you consider that too, like, is that too shiny or that's fine?
This is fine. This will, when I powder it, because I'm going to powder right over it, is going to, oops, it's going to become less obvious. Your rosier one? Yeah. Do is pick a color, a lip color that's a little lighter than the lip color that you're wearing, or you can even take a tiny bit of highlight. And at the very center of the lower lid, you're going to dab a little bit of this lighter color and kind of blend it into the lip color so it comes. Any idea what that does?
Makes it look fuller.
Yeah, it makes it look more full because it looks like that little bit of lighter lip color looks like the light's hitting it and sort of shining, so it makes it look more full. Now I'm also very light. See, it takes quite a bit of that shine now. I'm going to do the, I know, that's good, no, just open the edges, like, yeah. Finally, I'm going to do the eyeliner. You can use the black in your kit. Do use black, everyone. We're going to do eyeliner both top and bottom. The eyeliner on the bottom is going to sort of wing out and up, sort of opening up the shape of the eye. The liner on the bottom is not going to come right into the lash line. The liner on the bottom is going to come about 1/8 of an inch below the lash line. We're going to fill that space in with highlight. What that's going to do is essentially it's going to, from a distance, make the opening of the eye look much larger and create an audience perception that we can see the eyes better. Steady hand. Feel free to try out the cream black in your kit and use cream liner for this. If you can get a really nice even skinny line, you might find you prefer this than to messing with the cheap pencil. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a nice smooth line along her upper lashes, and then about 3/4 of the way out, instead of coming down, I'm going to wing out and up. Sure. Yeah, if you have a black liquid or like a felt tip marker, those are great, just as long as they're not sparkly or like leather shiny or anything like that. Yeah, those felt tip markers are nice. That outer edge, I'm even gonna ever so slightly. So do come up and get a closer look at that. I'm also going to, yeah, actually, could you do a video close-up? So, see that? And it's already, as you can see, video, it's already getting a little, nice stuff, so sort of tap, tap, tap that. All right, eyeliner, super important to be symmetrical. Now what I'm doing with the cream liner I have, I'm getting right into those lashes, and then I'm going to sort of thicken the line as I go. Gives me greater control. Lashes. You want to follow the natural sort of round curve of the lash line of the eye, but as I said, you're going to come a little bit beneath it. So open, look up at the ceiling. Now this will look a little messy because Kim was already wearing eyeliner today, so we're having kind of like a double line. Now what's going to happen is I get to the outer edge of the eye, instead of coming up to the eyelid or even coming up to meet the top lash, I'm going to kind of swoop out a little bit, swoop up a little bit, and then out, and give her kind of Liz Taylor Cleopatra eyes. The two lines will not meet each other, and that's really important. It's going to create the illusion of a really open eye.
Do they come together at like the inside of the eye?
Nope. No, and in fact, I don't even extend the lash line all the way to that center. To get black color in there, especially from a distance, can make your eye look a little smaller. It's gonna get messed up almost as soon as it starts. So I'm not gonna take the time to like powder that in. But before you show it to me, as soon as you get those eyeliner layers in, go in with the tip of a little brush and a little powder, tap, 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 you know, getting the excess off. Tap a little powder over it so that it sets, right? And then you want to powder the whole thing as well. So it's about exaggerating features, exaggerating eyes, exaggerating brows, exaggerating mouth, but still being pretty up close. Great?